What up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional. Uh, Back here to give you the World Leaders Index. I had hoped to have Lewis and Nick on for this, but had some time constraints that didn't work out. These indexes were a little bigger than we were expecting and taking a lot more time. So once the indexes are done, I'm going to do a series on building an army list for pretty much every faction, and I'll do one per day instead of trying to bang out 6 to 8 indexes a day. So they're going to come back and join me then, and we'll be able to get a little more in depth into once we have points and stuff. So that'll probably be starting possibly this weekend, but if not, sometime beginning of next week. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into this World Eaters right now. It's so the army roll is Blessings of Corn. If your army faction is World Eaters, at the start of the battle round, you can make the Blessings of Corn roll. To do so, roll 8d6. You can then use those dice to activate up to 2 Blessings of Corn from the Blessings of Corn list. See, right? Each Blessing of Corn specifies the dice result it requires. Where a number is specified, a double or triple of that value or higher is required. You can only activate each Blessing of Corn once per battle round. Any unused dice from the Blessing of Corn roll are then discarded. Once activated, each Blessing of Corn applies to all units from your army with this ability until the end of the battle round. Alright, so you roll 8 dice. So you're always going to end up with some kind of double. So these first two, you will have access to every single turn. So you can add to the move characteristics models in the unit. And then you can add models in your units. You can have a 6-up Feel No Pain. And if they already had a Feel No Pain, you add 1 to it. So you should be able to pick one of these any turn if you want to. And a lot of turns you'll be able to pick both of them if you wanted to. Then if you get double 3s, melee weapons, so you can give your melee weapons sustained hits 1. Double 4s or any triple, which rolling 8 dice, triples are going to be very likely, so you'll have access to this one a lot of the time, I believe. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model does not fault this phase on a 4-up, it's basically a 4-up fight on death. Then we have Warp Blades, which are on 5s or any triple, so once again, you'll have access to this both times, give your melee weapons lethal hits. And then on double 6s or triple 4s, this unit is eligible to declare charge in the turn in which it advanced. So this one's a little harder to get, but it's probably one of the best ones, so it should be the hardest to get. So we've got some cool abilities, and you'll most likely have options on which two you can choose each turn. So that's cool. So that's very interesting rule. Then you have your detachment rule is Relentless Rage. Each time a World Eater unit from your army is selected to fight, if turn to the end of the phase, add 1 to the strength and attacks of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. Ours a +1 strength and attack. It's a solid rule. Then they're giving us your stratagems right here. We've got Gory Massacre, which happens in the fight phase. It's 1 World Eaters unit from your army that made a charge move this turn and destroyed 1 or more enemy units. So you have to charge and destroy a unit. In your opponent's next command phase, each enemy unit within 6 of your unit must take a battle shock test. If the unit taking that test is below half strength, subtract 1 from the test. Any units affected by this strategy do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase. Alright, so basically you make everybody near you take battle shock, and if they're already below half strength, meaning they would have had to take one anyway, they get -1. Very useful. I mean, it's not a big range, but if you're charging into your opponent's, into their lines, it's not horrible. Blood for the Blood Glad. Fight phase just after World Eaters unit from your army destroys an enemy unit. Make a Blessing of Corn roll. You can use this result of this roll to activate 1 Blessing of Corn. That Blessing of Corn does not count toward your maximum number of activated Blessings of Corn, but all other rules for Blessings of Corn apply. Alright, so you target you make a blessing. I don't see that it says it only affects. Blessing Coin. That Blessing Coin does not count to a maximum number of activated Blessing Coin, but all other rules for Blessing Coin apply. So all other rules apply. So it looks like this would actually be for your whole army. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or they worded it wrong or if that's actually the intention, but it looks like this. You target a unit destroyed an army, they roll for a Blessing of Corn, but it still activates for the whole army. That seems really strong. Fight phase. One worldly unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes a attack against a character, vehicle, or monster, add 1 to the wound. Alright, so +1 wounding against characters, vehicles, and monsters. Corn cares not. Fight phase just after enemy unit has selected its targets. One worldly unit from your army that was selected as a target. Subtract 1 from the damage characteristics. Alright, so there's -1 to it, and this in melee, yep. So in melee, your -1 can give -1 damage to incoming attacks to one of your units. Alright, all solid. These you have to kill units. This one you have to charge and kill a unit, so you gotta do some qualifiers before they activate, but then we have Blood Offering, any phase. One worldly unit from your army that was just destroyed while it was within range of an objective marker you controlled. You use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. The objective marker remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. Alright, so this is most likely to be if they shoot you off an objective, because if they kill you off an objective, unless they have OC 0, they're going to control it at the end of the turn, and this would really be a wasted CP. Unless for some reason you needed to control that objective in the middle of the turn, because they can't really kill you in the command phase, so it won't help you for scoring. So it's really only if you die in shooting, I think this is. Apoplectic Frenzy. Your movement phase, one worldly unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase. Until the end of the phase, if your unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of the phase, add 6 to move characteristics. Alright, so far, strats are solid, rules are solid, world eaters, so far I'm liking what I see. Then we have their enhancements here. Favorite of Corn. Each time you make a Blessing of Corn roll before doing anything else, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, discard all the dice from that roll and make a new Blessing of Corn roll. This new roll does not count as a reroll, so any rules that enable you to reroll or manipulate individual dice, i.e. Icon of Corn, can still be used. Alright, so that's nice. You can so basically you make a Blessing of Corn roll. If you don't like it, before you pick the things, you can re-roll it. That's cool. Let me just confirm, Blessings of Corn is the this thing, right? Yeah, so yes, you can re-roll that if you don't like what you got. That's really nice. And that's each time, so it's every time. It's not just once per game or something. I actually really like that. Helps you be more reliable, get into the abilities you want. We got the Berserker Glaive, World Eater model only. Add 1 to the attacks and damage characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. Each time the bearer ends a charge move, roll 1d3 until the end of the turn. Add the result of that roll to the attacks and damage characteristics of those melee weapons instead. Also, there's +1 attack and damage, and if you make a charge, you have the potential to get up to +3 attacks and damage. Alright, I'm putting on really somebody you know is going to be getting in. That's not horrible. You can select the bearer's unit for the heroic intervention strategy for 0 CP, and even if it's already targeted. I feel with World Eaters you're going to be charging more than you're getting charged, so I'm not sure how good that one is. If it was like old heroic where you could do it even if your opponent didn't charge you, that'd be really nice. But with the new heroic rules, I don't think World Eaters will be getting charged as much as they're charging. So for a tournament where you don't know what you're facing, I probably wouldn't put the points in that. World Eaters model only. This helmet brazen ire. Each time attack is allocated to the bearer, have the damage characteristic of that attack. Alright, that's solid. So these three, this one's really good. These two are nice, and this one's niche. Like if you're doing more like friendly games, one-off, you know you're fighting another combat army, like you and your friend are just playing, then you take this. But going into a tournament, where most likely you're not running into somebody that's going to be charging you as much as you're charging them, I don't probably take that. First they give us Angron, big ol' angry boy here. 14-inch move, T11, 2 up save, 16 wounds, leadership 5, 6 OC. He's got Seminarius and Spine Grinder. They have a strike and a sweep, so 8 attacks goes to 18, both hit on 2s. 16 strength to 8, neg 4 AP to 2, neg 2, d6 plus 2 damage to 2 damage. Then he has Deep Strike, and he's got Reborn and Blood. Each time you make a Blessings of Corn roll, if this model is destroyed, you can use a 666 from that roll to use this ability. If you do, this model is no longer destroyed. It is placed into reserves with its full wounds remaining. Wow. So if you kill Angron and they roll 666s, they can put Angron in reserve with his full 16 wounds back. At the start of your charge phase, select one Wrathful Presence ability. Until the start of your next charge phase, this model has that ability. Alright, so that's these ones over here. But this Reborn in Blood, with 8 dice, roll 666s, and if you take the enhancement on one of your other characters to give you the ability to re-roll all the dice, and then it says possibly there might be an icon or something that affects it. That would be really tough for somebody. You finally get through Angron, and they just bring him right back and Deep Strike him in. Alright, and then these he can choose once at the start of at the start of the charge phase. So a lot of the other people that had this type of ability were at the start of the battle round, but this is just at the start of his charge phase. While friendly warlord unit with a 6th of this model, each time a charge roll is made, add 1. While friendly warlord's unit is below its starting strength and within 6, add 1 to attacks. For melee weapons equipped by models in that unit, if they have starting strength of 1, if they have less than 1, they get that. So if he's taken at least 1 wound, he could do this and it affects himself. Righteous Slaughter, while a friendly warlord unit within 6 of this model, each time a model unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit rolls. Alright, these are all charge phase only. And they're good but they are active until your next charge phase, so you do get a whole battle round out of them. Like the other rules, they just activate at a different time. It's really solid. He hits like a truck, no shooting, but the potential of bringing him back with the 666s is just scary. Like, I would hate to have that happen against me. Then we got Karn the Betrayer. Movement 6, T4, 5 wounds. He's got a plasma pistol, strength 8, neg 3, 2 damage. So I think it has better AP. Maybe. Otherwise, I don't know what's different about it. Why it has to be called Karn's. It's 12-inch range, 1 attack, hits on 2s. Maybe because it hits on 2s. Because it already looks like. Oh, it doesn't have hazardous. It's always overcharged, but doesn't have hazardous. That's the cool thing about it. Then he has Gore Child, 8 attacks, hits on 2, strength 6, neg 2, 3 damage. Then Ledger Killer, while this model's leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. So that's solid. At the end of your charge phase, this model is leading a unit, and that unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. You must take a leadership test for this model. This test is failed. 1 bodyguard model from your choice and that unit is destroyed. So there it is, Karn killing his own models. So at the end of your charge phase, if his unit's not within engagement range, he's just going to kill units out of his models out of his unit. I wish they had a caveat for something for this for like after starting the second battle round or something, because you're pretty much always just going to kill one of his models turn 1. Berserker Frenzy. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, if it has not fought this phase, do not remove it from play. It can fight after attacking models. Alright, so basically he has Fight on Death. Then he's got a 4-up invul. Does some decent damage. I like this. The fact that he's just always going to kill something turn 1. Let's see what he joins. Just Berserkers. So it's not. I'm assuming Berserkers won't be too expensive, but you're just going to lose one right away most of the time. Unless you put them in reserve, try to make a charge out of reserves or something, so they're not on the table to do it. Because assuming even if does it trigger if they're in a transport, you put them in a Rhino, does this still trigger? Because he's still leading the unit even if they're in the transport. I'm pretty sure it won't work in reserve, but does it work in the transport? I don't know. Then we have Lord Invoctus. 12-inch move, T6, 8 wounds. Bolt pistol. He's got Cower's Bane. Coward's Bane. Devastating wounds, 7 attacks, strength 6, neg 2, 2 damage. Then he's got the Juggernaut's Bladed Horn. Extra attacks, Lance. So 4 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. So that's just from the Juggernaut. Then he's got a Scout move of 6. While this model is leading a unit, that unit is able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. Alright. Then Road of 8 Bloody Steps. At the start of the battle, before any moves are made using the Scout ability, you can select up to 2 friendly World Eaters infantry units within 6 of this model that do not have the Scout's ability. Until the end of the battle, all models of selected units have the Scout 6 ability. Oh, wow. So he could just give like some Berserkers or something Scout just right out the gate before anybody makes Scout moves. That's an interesting ability. I'd have to put some more thought in, play around with it more to see how strong it really is, but it's definitely, I don't know, there's got to be something in there with that. I can't fully process that right now, but that seems interesting. Then he can join 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, and Khorne Berserkers. Then we got a World Eater's Demon Prince. I think his stats are pretty much the same. He has a 4-up invul, and while friendly World Eater infantry is within 6 of him, they get a 4-up invul save. Oh, that's really nice. And then each time this model makes a charge move until the end of the turn, its health doesn't have devastating wounds. So he's pretty solid. I like that, given that just 4-up invul to infantry near him. Then same thing here is with wings. More move, less toughness. Then his abilities are, at the start of the fight phase, each unit with engagement range of this model must take a battle shock test. And then Oath to Khorne. At the start of the battle, select 1 unit from your opponent's army to be this model's sworn foe. Each time this model makes the attack that targets a sworn foe, you can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. And at the end of the battle, the sworn foe has not been destroyed, this model is destroyed. Oh, so if they live, basically Khorne kills him. That would be interesting. You don't get like battle point like for killed units, so I'm not sure. Other than just like how your model died, I'm not sure points wise in a game because it's end of battle. There's nothing else happening. With the end of battle, you probably already. So yeah, I don't know how much this really matters that is destroyed at the end of the battle, but it's just funny. Then we got World Eater's Lord on Juggernaut. So 10-inch move, T6, 7 wounds, OC2, Plasma Pistol. Exalted Chainblade is 7 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. Then he's got the Juggernaut's Blade. Aggressive Advance. While this model is leading a unit, you can reroll any or all of the following rolls made for that unit. Advance rolls, charge rolls, blood surge rolls, see Khorne Berserkers. Bloody Stampede. Each time this model's unit ends a charge move, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of this model. Roll 1d6. On a 2 to 3, they suffer a mortal. On a 4 to 5, they suffer d3. And on 6, d3 plus 3. So that's nice. So on the charge, they do damage. You can join 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, and Khorne Berserkers. Because people used to run them. But I'm guessing they're just called 8-bound now. Or they just did away with that unit and 8-bound are a new thing. I know I've heard a lot about 8-bound, but I actually haven't got to play against the new World Eaters. I've been kind of, I don't know, I've been able to dodge them at the tournament so far. Then we got the World Eaters Master of Executions. Bolt Pistol, asks its amendment is Devastating Wounds Precision, 5 attacks, strength 7, neg 2 damage. While this model's leading a unit, they have Fight First. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Very nice. Fight First is a huge ability, especially for a charging army. You charge someone else who has Fight First. Oh, it doesn't matter, they'll still fight first. But so this only helps you if you get charged. Or if somehow there's an ongoing combat or something. But it's not a horrible if you're fighting someone who's going to charge you. But once again, it's one of those things where who's charging World Eaters? My Space Wolves would. We're not scared. Then here's the Khorne Berserkers. T4, 2 wounds, OC2. Bolt pistol, plasma pistol, berserker chain blade, 4 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 1 damage, and then cornate eviscerator, 3 attacks, strength 8, neg 2, 2 damage. Blood surge. This is what one of the things that the Lord lets you reroll. Each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot, after that unit has finished making its attacks, if any models from this unit were destroyed as a result of those attacks, this unit can make a blood surge move. To do so, roll 1d6. This unit can be moved the number of inches up to the result, but this unit must finish the move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit, excluding aircraft. When doing so, they can be moved within engagement range. A unit cannot make a blood surge move while it is battle shocked. Alright, and then the icon of Khorne. Each time you take a blessing of Khorne, roll. If the bear's unit is within range of an objective marker you control, you can reroll one of the dice. Alright, well, that's cool. So you reroll, you use that enhancement to reroll all of them if you want, and then still reroll another one with this. And they let you reroll one. Is if you have multiple units with this on multiple decks, you get to reroll multiple of the dice. If so, that starts to get pretty strong. And then this is nice. Just they shoot you, you move closer. Your shooting isn't that great. You definitely want to be getting closer. So every 5 models, one can take a plasma pistol. They have 1 champion. So champion can take a pistol, and so you can put 2 plasma pistols in a 5-man or 3 in a 10-man. Then we got jackals, 6-inch move, 6 up save, T3, 1 wound. Jackal's chain blade is sustained hits 1, 2 attacks, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. Dishonored chain blades are sustained hits 1, 3 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Mauler chain blades is sustained hits 1, 2 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. Skull Smasher, 4 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 2 damage. Objective Ravaged. At the end of your command phase, if this unit is within range of an objective marker you control, that objective remains under control even if you have no models. So this gives you sticky objectives. And then Icon of Khorne, same thing. You can reroll a dice for the Blessing of Khorne. I have 1 Jackal leader with a dishonored, 1 Jackal pack leader, 1 dishonored, and 8 jackals, or 1 Jackal pack leader, 2 dishonored, and 17 jackals. Jackal pack leader, every jackal has auto pistol and jackal blade blades. Dishonored has dishonored chain blades. 1 jackal for every 10 can take the Mauler, and any number of dishonored can take the Skull Smasher. Alright, I've never seen this unit. This is all the new stuff that came out when World Eaters came out. Very interesting. World Eaters Terminator Squad. I don't know if they have extra attacks. I don't see much different over here. Blood Fur. Each time this model in this unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If the starting unit is below starting strength, add 1 to the rule roll if it's below half strength. Alright, so just +1 to hit if you're below starting, +1 to wound as well if you're below half. Then we got, here's the 8 bound. 9-inch move, T6, 3 up save, 3 wounds. They have 1 OC. They have 8 bound eviscerators, which are 6 attacks, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage. They have a heavy chain glaive with 8 attacks, strength 7, neg 3, 1 damage. And then lacerators, which are 4 attacks, strength 9, neg 2, 3 damage. All pretty solid profiles. Scout 6 inches. Beacons of Rage. While a friendly World Eaters unit within 6 of this unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If that attack targets a unit below half strength, reroll all the wound rolls instead. Alright, so they buff any World Eater unit near them. It's 3 to 6 8 bound. Champion has lacerators, or else has eviscerators, and the champion can take the chain glaive. Then the Exalted 8 bound. These move 9, T6, 3 wounds. Let's see, move 9, T6, 3 wounds, leadership 6, 1. Alright, so stat is exactly the same as the other 8 bound. They can take the 8 bound Chain Fist, which is 3 attacks, strength 14, neg 3, 2 damage. Ooh, strength 14, that's nice. 8 bound Eviscerator is 5 attacks, strength 6, neg 2, 2 damage. Heavy Chain Glade is 8 attacks, strength 8, neg 3, 1 damage. And then paired 8 bound Chain Fist. It's just the same as the other Chain Fist, but twin linked. They feel no pain 6 up. Then Overwhelming Wrath. Each time an enemy unit within 6 inches of this unit is selected to fall back, that unit must take a leadership test. If the test is failed, that unit must remain stationary this phase instead. Then they get a 5-up invul save. Enemy unit within 6 units selected to fall back, leadership, or stationary. Alright, so just hoping to prevent fallback. Other than that, it's still 3 to 6. World Eater's Land Raider. As assault ramp. 12. I don't know if possibly there's a weapon option difference, but other than just giving them Blessings of Corn, I don't see any difference here. Looks like the same with the Predator. So they're probably going to give us all the Predator profiles here. The Defiler. Still Scuttling Walker. Are they duplicating all these just to give them the Blessing of Corn reroll? Or they get a different invul? Or no, these don't have invul. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the difference is here. I'm sure there's some subtle little difference between this and the ones we looked at in the Chaos Marine one. Same with these guys. All these just, for the most part, look to be duplicates. This guy might have something different. Each time a unit targets this model after that unit has finished making its attacks, this model can either shoot or fight. It's equipped with 2 Hellburst Twin Linked. Alright, so that I think might be different. World Eater's Helldrake. Each time this model ends a normal move, you'll select one unit moved over. Roll 2d6 on a 4+, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. Can't remember if that was the same on the other one or not. Then the World Eater's Mauler Fiend. Scent of Blood. Each time you get charge roll for this model, if one or more targets the target below their starting strength, add 2 to that roll. So +2 is charge if the enemy unit's below starting strength. And if it makes a melee attack against a unit that's below starting strength, add 1 to the hit roll. Alright, that's nice. World Eater's Rhino. I believe just getting Blessings of Corn here. World Eater's Chaos Spawn. Feel no pain, Blessing of Corn. Still regenerates. I don't know if they're potentially giving like an extra attack to any of this stuff. Or a strength. Otherwise, I don't really see much difference. The Corn Lord of Skulls. We saw this also at the end of the Chaos Marine book, so you can take it in both. Gaining Blessing of Corn. I'm assuming he's the same every... Oh, here he is. Each time you make a Blessing of Corn roll, for each enemy unit destroyed by this model in the previous battle round, you can add 1 or subtract 1 from one of the dice rolled. Each dice can only be modified in this way once. It cannot be modified below 1 or above 6. Alright, so this helps you get the buffs you want. That's nice. So that's it for World Eaters. Very choppy. You know, not doing much from range, but if you get them in, they hit hard. They got some really cool army rules. Definitely something I've wanted to build. I got another project in the works first, but they could definitely be one of my upcoming projects. I really like the World Eaters look and the rules, so don't have much else to say about that. So that's the World Eaters, and thank you guys for watching. Alright, so that was the World Eaters. Next up, we will go into the Black Templars. So if anyone's watching, I'm recording these separately, even though I'm living them all together, so I'm going to do my little intro again once I start recording this. Welcome back to Almost Functional. Just back here with another index. Doing the Black Templars. I know we're a day behind. Had some streaming issues yesterday, so Black Templars and Deathwatch didn't get done last night, so I'm doing them after all the chaos stuff today. So let's just roll right into them. If your army faction has Depths of Astartes, you can use the Righteous Crusade detachment rule. Cannot include any Psyker models. Cannot include any of the following models that do not have Black Templars keyword: Gladiator Lancer, Gladiator Reaper, Gladiator Valiant, Impulsor, Repulsor, Repulsor Executioner. All of these, I believe, just have a slight extra melta or something they're able to take. So once we get to those data sheets, we're kind of just going to skim through them because we went all over them already in the other videos. And Other than that, your army can include Black Templars. It cannot include any other chapters. Alright, so at the start of the first battle round, select one of the 4 Templar vows below to be active for your army. You can either give melee weapons lethal hits. Models in your units have field and plane 6+ and a leadership 5. You can give them a 4 invul against psychic attacks and melee weapons, get anti-psyker 4+, or you can give them melee weapons sustained hit 1s. Alright, so just a couple different options. 2 of them for melee. One makes you harder, gives you some feel no pain for resiliency and better at battle shock and leadership. Another one is if you're fighting a heavy psyker army, gives you some protection and some easier damage. Then their strats. Oh, is that their detachment rule? Do they not have... Oh, they have Oath of the Moment. All the Marines already have an army roll. Sorry, I was just doing all the chaos stuff, and I was like, wait, there's not the second rule. That they already have it. They just have Oath of the Moment. So, Fervent Acclamation. Your command phase, one Astartes character unit from your army. Select one Templar vow that is not active for your army until the start of your next command phase. While that character is leading unit, models in that unit gain the benefits of that vow in addition to the vow selected to be active for your army at the start of the battle. Alright, so one of your characters can give the unit he's leading an extra vow. A devout push, your shooting phase, just your opponent's shooting phase, just your opponent's shot. One of your units that had a model destroyed. You normally can make a normal move up to D6, but must stand close to the enemy. The unit shot, if the Bore the Witch, Destroy the Witch vow is active, you can instead move 6 inches, but in the move either close to the enemy unit that shot or closer to the closest enemy psyker. That's nice. Anytime you get extra movement on your opponent's turn is nice. Then no escape. Your opponent's movement phase. When an enemy unit, excluding vehicles and monsters, is selected to fall back. Select one of the starter's unit from your army with an engagement range them. Roll a d6 on a 1. Adding 1 to the result if accept any challenge no matter the odds vows active for your army. On a 4+, that enemy unit cannot fall back. This phase must remain stationary, otherwise the enemy can fall back that phase, but it does, all monsters in the unit must desperate escape. Alright, so enemy falls back, they either can't fall back or desperate escape. That's nice. Then you got Armor Contempt, which all Marines have. Vicious Riposte. Fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, one unit from your army that was selected as attacks. Till the end of the phase, each time a model you re-up if you have the Uphold the Honor of the Emperor vow. Crusade Wrath. Once a unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase, till the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes a melee attack, improve AP by 1. If the Suffer Not Clean is active, you get +1 strength as well. Alright, these are all decent strats, and some of them trigger extra stuff if you got your, depending on the value picked. We got Perdition's Edge. Improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1. If Suffer Not the Unclean vow is active for your army, add 1 to the attack characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons as well. It's +1 strength and armor to just the bearer's weapons. Not that great. Witch Seeker Bolts. Depth of Studies only. The bearer's ranged weapons have precision, anti-psyker 4+, and devastating wounds abilities. If a Bore the Witch is active, range attack the target psyker can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. We'll see if any characters have any ranged weapons. Well, it's all the range. How many shots? If they got a bunch of shots on one of these characters, that's nice. Otherwise, it's kind of just okay. So since it's anti-psyker 4+, so you're really not shooting at psykers, it's not as useful. Then we got Sigmund Seal. Improve the attack characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1. While the bearer is leading a unit, if accept any challenge no matter the odds vows active for your army, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, 5 up scores a critical hit. Just +1 attack. If you just don't have that 1 vow active, it's only +1 attack. Then you got Tannhauser's Bones. Each time an attack is allocated to a bearer, have the damage characteristic of that attack. While the bearer's leading unit, if Uphold Honor, they get a 5 up feel no pain. None of these seem that great. A couple of them, even when in the right vow, they're not that great. This one, if the vow's active, is solid. Same with this one, but the valves are there to make you flexible into anything you face. These enhancements kind of put you wanting to have a specific one every time. So I like their army rules. I'm not a big fan of their enhancements. Let's see what they get for detachments. We got Grimaldus with the Cenobite Servitor. Both T4, 4 wounds, 1 wound, leadership 5, leadership 8, plasma pistol, artificer, close combat. So nothing unique in his weapons. Then he's got Litanies of Devout while he's leading a unit. Each time a model in the unit makes a melee attack, he roll hit rolls. That's nice, give his units reroll hits. Command phase, this unit contains one or more Cenobite Servitor models. Select one relic of the Emperor Ascendant below, or ability C left, until the start of your next command phase. Units Grimaldus has ability. So as long as one of his little guys is alive with him, you can select one of these in your command phase, and it's good until your next command phase. This unit is eligible to declare a charge at a turn which advanced or fell back. The models in the unit have a Feel No Pain 5+. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in this unit by 1. Alright, that's not horrible. Advanced charge is nice. Giving unit 5 Feel No Pain is nice. +1 AP, depending on what you're going into, it can be nice. And the fact that he gets to choose every command phase, you know what you're going to hopefully try to do with the unit. And they already gives them full rerolls to hit. Very nice. So weapon profiles, very generic stuff. This stuff is actually pretty nice. It's him and 3 servitors, so that's an extra 4 models you can add to a unit, which means you will have to start worrying about your coherencies. Just keep that in mind. You can join Assault Intercessors, Infernus Squad, Intercessor Squad, Crusader Squad. Crusader Squad, they can take Neophytes and other models. Basically, your scouts can go into your Crusaders. Both are T4, both are 2 wounds. The Neophytes only get a 4-up save. Everybody else gets a 3-up, and they're all OC2. Don't see anything special in the weapons. So their special rolls, they can reroll advance and charge rolls. That's really nice. And then you take 1 Sword Brother, 4 to 9 Initiates, and 0 to 10 Neophytes. So you have to take 5 to 10 Initiates, and then you can take up to 10 Neophytes, but you don't have to take any. And then if a character from your army with the leader ability can be attached to tactical, so basically tactical squad leaders can join this. All the rest of this. Just lots of different options they can do with all the little bodies. Yeah, Crusader Soldier Squad are fine. They're battle lines. You can take up to 6 of them. Then we got Helbrecht. He's 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, leadership 5, OC2, 2-up save. Range weapon is Ferocity, anti-infantry 4+, devastating wounds, 2 attacks, strength 5, -1, 2 damage. Sword of the High Marshals, he can swing one-handed or two-handed, 12 attacks to 6, both hit on 2, strength 6 to 8, -3, spur for oath, 1 damage to 3 damage. He has Crusade of Wrath. While this model is leading a unit, add one of the strength characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit, and each time an attack is made with such a weapon, a successful, unmodified hit roll of a 5-up scores a critical hit. So while he's leading a unit, add 1 to melee weapons, and their melee weapons get critical hits on 5s, which I believe does stack with himself. So he would go to strength 6, and 5-ups would do devastating against things that aren't infantry, because he's already doing devastating on 4-ups against infantry. At the start of the fight phase, select one enemy with an engagement range of this model's unit. Roll a d6. On 2 to 3, they suffer d3 mortals. 4 to 5, 3 mortals. On a 6, d3 plus 3. So this is the start of the fight phase. He just picks a unit and they take mortals. Alright, that's nice. And he can join Assault Intercessors, Primaris Crusader Squad, or Primaris Sword Brethren. Then we got the Primaris Crusader Squad. So they actually have Neophyte Primaris. That's interesting. I'm not sure. Do they have models for that, or you just take like regular Assault Intercessors? How do you tell the, or do you just put, yeah, it's Primaris Neophyte, so it's not just like a regular scout. Reavers? I don't know. I'm interested to see, is there an actual Primaris Neophyte model? Uh, Neophyte firearm is 2 attacks, strength 4 AP, 0 1 damage. They have a Pyre Pistol, which is basically a flamer. Pyre Blaster, which is basically a flamer that's strength 5. Uh, Nothing special to combat weapons. They get reroll advance and charge as well. Same thing. Oh no, they can take 6 to 12 initiates and then 4 to 8 neophytes. Uh, that's interesting. I wonder why they did it that way. But that's interesting. And then they got all their options here. Then we got Primaris Sword Brethren, which kind of like Blade Guard with like plasma pistols. So 3 wounds, 3 up save, combi weapon, heavy bolt pistol, plasma pistol, pyre pistol, a mastercrafted power weapon. Nothing unique in any of this. Val Swarm Bladesman. At the start of the fight phase, you select one of the following effects to apply to melee weapons equipped by model's unit. So they can get +1 attack or +1 damage. Very solid rule. I like that. Black Templars definitely will probably see a lot of these. 5 to 11 models. Interesting. Anybody that can join an intercessor squad can join them. Then we got the Emperor's Champion. T4, 5 wounds. Black Sword is strike. His strike has precision, and then his sweep. So you got 6 to 10 attacks. Weapon skill 2, strength 8 to strength 6. Neg 3, neg 2, 3 damage to 1. Then once per phase, when a melee attack is allocated to this model, the saving throw has failed. You can change the damage characteristic to 0. So it's only when it targets him. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character, add 1 to the wound roll. Alright. So he can join Assault Intercessors, Intercessor Squads, Primaris Crusader Squad, Primaris Sword Brethren Squad, or Stern Guard Veteran Squad. He doesn't actually give any bonus to them. All his bonuses are on himself, but he is just another good fighter in the squad. Then we got a Castellan. He's T4, 4 wounds. Combi weapon, heavy bolt, Astartes, chainsword, massacre. So nothing special there. Gives lethal hits to his unit. And then this model's unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn which it fell back. Alright, so I guess he's their lieutenant. He can join all these same Primaris units. Then we got a Marshal. T4, 5 wounds. Nothing special in his weapon gear. Rights of battle. So that's your captain. He's the 0 CP strat. And then his special rule is once per battle at the start of the fight phase. This model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 3 to the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by this model, and they have devastating wounds. So he can give his Mastercraft, he can basically go up to 9 attacks and do mortal zone 6s. And he can join pretty much all the same units. We got Black Temple. Well, these are all the ones where they just, from what people were telling me, they get this melt off option with other people don't have. I believe it's the only real difference. So we're just going to scroll through all these. Black Templar Impulsor. So what does the Impulsor get? Orbital Ray, Assault Vehicle. Just the options for the multi-melt that the normal one don't have? I believe so. So Repulsor, same. Executioner, same. They all get access to an extra melta. And that's really it. So definitely some interesting stuff in here. They're solid. They got access to all the other marine stuff. They're very flavorful, cool army. I know there's a lot of people playing them right now because they were really strong for a minute there in 9th edition. But they look like they should still be solid. I don't know if they're like S broken tier before, but hopefully not too much is. Hopefully everything's kind of similar. So definitely, if you're a Black Templar player, I don't think you should really be disappointed in these rules. They seem fine, and you still have access to most of the other Marine units with all your vows and stuff. So I think Black Templar should be in a fairly decent place. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll hit you with the next one. Alright, I don't think anyone's out there, but if you are, we just got one left. We just got the Deathwatch. This is only 30 pages. From what I hear, there's some really spicy stuff in here that might be getting hit fairly quickly, but gonna start a record, do my intro again, and we'll get into this. Welcome back to Almost Fun. So, just like the Black Templars, this is being done after Chaos because of streaming issues yesterday. We didn't get to get all the Marine chapters done. So here's their army ride rule. Kill teams. Each time an attack targets a kill team unit from your army that contains models with different toughness characteristics. Until the attacking unit finishes making its attacks, use the toughness characteristics of the majority of the models in that unit when determining that roll is required for that attack. To successfully wound, if two or more toughness are tied, Terminator models, Kill Team Outride models, Kill Team Biker models, and models equipped with jump packs, each take up space of two models, but can other bodies embark within transport that a unit can embark within, even though similar mounted models and other units may have the Terminator mounted jump pack keywords. Ugh. So they basically, if you have those in those kill teams, they can get in transports they normally can't. For the purpose of interacting with terrain features, all models in the unit with kill team ability are treated as infantry, even though similar models in other units may have mounted or jump pack keywords. Whew. Alright, so that's a lot. So all their army rule does is just explain to you how their kill team works. And then their detachment rule is, well, they also get Oath of the Moment. So that's fine. They have Oath of the Moment, and this just clarifies kill teams. Alright, so never mind. So they still get Oath of the Moment. And then detachment rules, they get Army include Deathwatch unit, but cannot include Adept of the Astartes from other chapters. You cannot take Assault Squad with Jump Pack, Attack Bike, Devastator Squad, Lance Feeder Storm, Scout Squad, Scout Sniper Squad, Tactical Squad. At the start of your command phase, you can select one of the mission tactics listed below. Until the start of your next command phase, that mission tactic is active and its effects apply to all units from your army with this ability. So this is basically very similar to combat doctrines. It just is adaptive tactics. Basically, you can put one of your units into a different of your chosen tactics in addition to the regular one, or no, instead. So you basically swap it out for one of your units. And then you have Teleportarium. Up to 2 kill team units from your army, or 1 Adept of the Astartes infantry unit from your army. Remove those units from the battlefield and remorph them. End of your opponent's fight phase. You basically put them back into reserve, and they come back on your turn. You can't select them if they're within engagement range of enemy units. Then Hellfire rounds your shooting phase. Up to 2 kill team units from your army that have not been selected to shoot this phase, or 1 other Adeptus Astartes unit from your army, excluding vehicles that has not been selected to shoot this phase. To the end of this phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the anti-infantry 2+ and anti-monster 5+. You cannot select any units that have already been targeted with either Kraken round or Dragonfire rounds for this stratagem. Alright, so basically you give your unit anti-infantry 2+ and anti-monster 5+. Then we have Kraken rounds, same up to 2 kill teams or 1 other team or other unit, not vehicles, until the end of the phase. Improve their AP by 1 and improve the range by 6. And once again, you can only put 1 round on any unit. So they give us Dragonfire. Same thing, 2 kill teams or 1 other, no vehicle. Until the end of the phase, models gain Assault and ignore cover. Alright. Real solid. The Hellfire rounds is the one that comes up later in the big combo everyone's talking about. We got Thief of Secrets. Depth of Astartes model only. Improve the strength, damage, and armor duration characteristics of bearer's melee weapons by 1. If an enemy model is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer at the end of that phase until the end of the battle, improve strength, damage, armor, penetration characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1 instead. So if the character kills at least 1 enemy model, so not unit and doesn't have to be character. So basically, you improve your strength, damage, and armor penetration by 1 naturally, and then if he kills an enemy model, all that becomes 2 instead. We got the Beacon Angelus. Model in your bearer's unit have deep strike ability. In addition, you can target the bearer's unit with the rapid ingress strat for 0 CP. That's really nice. Then you have the Osseous key. Watchmaster or Tech Marine model only. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one enemy vehicle unit, excluding Titanic, within 12, invisible to bearer. That model must take a leadership test. If that test is passed, till the end of the phase, same model that unit makes an attack, subtract one of the hit roll. If the test is failed, they can't shoot. That's cool. Then they got the Tomb of Ectoclades. Watchmaster or Captain only. Once per battle, after you have selected an enemy unit using the Oath of the Moment ability in your command phase, the bearer can use this enhancement if they are on the battlefield. When they do, select a second enemy unit until the start of your next command phase. Each time a demonstrated model from your makes an attack that targets either of those units, you can reroll. So basically, you can put Oath of the Moment on 2 units. Actually, I really like this one. That's really good. The Deep Strike and Rapid Ingress is really nice. That's not that great. This one could be really big. So they got some decent enhancements. Then we get the Watchmaster, pretty standard captain profile. Got a Vigil Spear, 2 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 2 damage. And then in combat, it gets Lance, 6 attacks, strength 6, negative D3 damage. Then Strategic Knowledge. While he's leading a unit, the unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge and turn its fell back. And then once per battle, your warlord is on the battlefield. He has the Vact where he can increase one of the stratagems your opponent uses by 1 CP for the rest of the battle. You can join Deathwatch veterans and the Proteus kill team. We got Watch Captain Artemis. Looks like a T4 4 wounds, pretty standard profile there. Hellfire Extremist, anti-infantry 4, devastating wounds, ignore cover torrent. 12-inch range, D6, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. So basically a flavor with neg 1 and devastating wounds. Oh, an anti-infantry 4 plus, so that's okay. Mastercrafted power weapon. Feeling a plane 6 plus. Tactical instinct. While this model is leading a unit, you can target that unit with a stratagem. Even that stratagem has already been used on another unit from your army this phase. In addition, that unit can be targeted with a stratagem even while it's battle shocked. That's really nice. And then start Unstoppable Champion. At the first time this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase. On a 2-up, set it back up as close as possible, and then with 1 wound remaining. So this you still have to spend CP for it, but you can use the stratagem twice, and on a battle shocked unit. You can join Deathwatch veterans and Proteus kill team. We get Kill Team Cassius. This is Chaplain Cassius. Kill Team Veterans, Kill Team Terminator, Kill Team Biker. Alright, so pretty standard stats for all those guys. They have a Deathwatch Twin Bolt Gun, which is 4 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. It's basically just a bolt gun with extra shots. They got the Frag Cannon, which is D3 shots, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage. Blast Heavy, rapid fire D3. And then they have a Long Vigil ranged weapon, anti-infantry 4 plus, devastating wounds, rapid fire 1. So 1 a shot, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. They have Psychic Cleanse, which is D6, strength 5, neg 1, D3 damage. Combat, they have the Long Vigil melee weapon, which is 4 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. Catechism of Death. While this unit contains Chaplain Cassius, melee weapons equipped by models on that unit have the devastating wounds ability. Then Unflinching. Each time this unit takes a battle shock or leadership test, you can re-roll it. And then the bearer, if they have the jump pack, the bearer has a move character of 12 and can move over models and train as if they were not there. And the Psychic Hood. Models in the bearer's unit have the Feel No Pain 4 plus ability against psychic attacks. So does Chaplain Cassius have a Psychic Hood? Is he like a psyker? But he's a chaplain? That's interesting. And these are all named, or maybe one of these guys is a psyker. Here's Cassius, his Artificer Crozius. Let's see. Oh, Genus Nortoran, I guess, is the psyker. And he has a force weapon. Alright, so this is like unnamed, everybody's a named person in here. Alright. Then Deathwatch veterans. T4 2 wounds, pretty standard profile. Bolt gun, frag cannon, furnace heavy bolter. His heavy sustained hits 1. Then it also has a First heavy flamer, dev, an extra AP or something. I'm not sure if I see the difference between the other versions of those. I might just be missing it. Uh, then they have a Deathwatch Thunderhammer, devastating wounds, strength 10 to 3 damage. Now that's a Thunderhammer. Then they have a Xenophase Blade, devastating wounds, 4 attacks, strength 5 to 1 damage. Death to allied. Each time while this unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If the target of that attack does not have the Imperium or Chaos keyword, you can reroll a hit roll instead. Then they start a shield. Alright, that's fine. Then we have all their options here, 5 to 10 models. If a model can join Vanguards, it can join them. Then we have the Deathwatch Terminator Squad, standard profile up top, standard weapon profile. They can take a plasma cannon, that looks like, which most Marine Terminators can't. The rest of this looks the same. Each time they have a charge move with an engagement, the unit takes the battle shock test. That's nice. And then they have access to the teleport homer. And then they this can take 5 to 10. Here's all the normal weapon options. They have a veteran bike squad, normal bike stat line. They have a long vigil ranged weapon, and so this have spike squad with some of the extra weapons they can take, and just their turbo booster rule. So no extra rules, just extra weapon options. 3 to 6. Corvus Black Star. Aircraft, so 20-inch or 20 up to 20 if he's hover, 20 or more if he's not. 10 wounds or 10 toughness, 14 wounds. OC 0. Black Star rocket launcher is blast, d6 plus 1, strength 5 0 1 damage. Storm strike missile launcher, strength 10 2 3 damage, 1 shot. Then cluster launcher. Each time this model ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit it moved over. Roll 66. Each 5 up suffers 1 mortal wound, so average 2 mortal wounds. Then there's the Auspex array. Ranged weapons equipped by the bearer have the ignores cover ability. That's always nice. And then he has the smoke keyword. No, he can either have smoke keyword or the ignore cover. You have to choose between the two. Alright, then we got the Proteus kill team. Pretty standard stat line there. All weapons that we've seen before. Proteus Doctrines. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets unit is not below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. Jump X 12-inch move. So that's, they get a couple extra options, and then that's that, and then they just can mix and match this stuff. 5 to 10 kill team veterans. So they have to take at least 5 veterans, and then they can add this extra stuff to it. Then we have the Fortis kill team, which is Intercessor or Outrider. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets unit below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. So that's the same as the other one, I believe. No, that's below. The other one is if they're not below. Actually, if they get +1 to hit, if they're not below, they get +1 to hit if they are below. That's going to be confusing to keep track of. So they can get a Plasma Incinerator. Strength 7 -1 damage. Strength 8 -3 2 damage. Assault Heavy. Assault Hazardous Heavy. So I guess it's just Assault is the difference in 24-inch range. And then, 5 to 10 Intercessors. And then they can take... Oh, I guess the Plasma Incinerator, I guess they can take... they call them Intercessor with Plasma Incinerator, but they're the Inceptors. And these are heavy Intercessors. Alright, and then you can take 2 Outriders. Alright, and then the Indomitor kill team. Assault Bolters, Auto Bolt Storm Gauntlets, Frankstorm, Plasma Exterminators, Plasma Incinerator. Who has a Plasma Incinerator? Because Plasma Exterminator is the Inceptors. Oh, is that Hellblasters? That must be Hellblasters. All right. Yeah, Deathwatch is so confusing. Like they give them the weapon and the model, but they don't. Why don't they just call them Hellblasters? So then Odometer Kill Team. All this what we're seeing. This is this. It looks like it's gonna be like aggressors, and these are the Inceptors. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, add one to the hit roll if the unit is below its starting strength. Add one to the wound well as well if it's below half strength. So they can take 5 Kill Team Heavy Intercessors. Intercessors with Power Fist, that would be the aggressors, I'm assuming. Intercessors with Melta Rifles, that's Eradicators, and then these are the Inceptors. Alright. Then you can take a Spectrus Kill Team. They have Accelerator Autocannon, so that's going to be a Suppressor, I guess. Bolt Carbine. So I guess these are going to be like Reavers and stuff. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is more than 6 inches away from all enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and revive back. That's another one where at the end of your opponent's turn, you can go back into reserves and come back. Helix Gauntlet gives the unit 6 up Feel No Pain. Comms Array, they can possibly refund a CP when they get a strat. So, Infiltrators, Infiltrator with Bolt Sniper Rifle, that's the Eliminators. Kill Team Infiltrators with Jump Pack. Kill Team Infiltrator with Oculus Bolt Carbine, that's Incursors. Kill Team Infiltrators with Combat Knives, I'm assuming that's the Reapers. I'm not sure who the Infiltrators with Jump Pack are. Is pretty much with the, which team was it? The one that has the combi weapons. Was it the Proteus? No, which one is it? Fortis. Yeah, I guess it's the Fortis. They take the long range. That's only one shot. 2 shots at 12. So I guess you take a 10-man. That's 20 shots. Shoving too many videos. I can't. My brain can't process. I know there's a combo in here for doing a bunch of mortal wounds, and then the captain strat. You can pop that. I know it has to do with the anti-infantry Hellfire rounds, and doing that strat twice, and putting it on the unit that has devastating wounds on their shooting. And I was pretty sure it was a kill team. Don't really see it on. Was there another kill team up here that I missed? Or is it possibly not on the kill team? Maybe it's on the veterans or something? Because the long vigil is just rapid fire with one shot. Alright. My brain can't process what this combo is right now. Because they are going to nerf it. They're not going to let that stand. They never do. They're going to cap the mortal wound output. We all know it's going to happen. Especially at the start of 10th. They really don't want any hiccups or stains on the new edition. I mean, there's going to be some, but they're going to try to eliminate them as quickly as possible. So, build for what. Don't go for the broken combos unless you have the models in the tournament that weekend and you want to take advantage of it. Cool, whatever, do you. But don't go waste your money buying all this stuff just for a combo that's going to be gone in a couple weeks, most likely, if not right when the edition drops. But that's it for that. So thank you guys for watching. Alright, I don't think anybody's out there, but if you are, that's, I I'm caught up on all the data sheets. We got all the Imperium ones dropping tomorrow. It's almost midnight, so I'm gonna hop off here. Get some of these uploaded to start. I have them all broke down into individual videos. So I'm just going to start uploading those, and then I'm going to get some sleep so I can work. Because unfortunately, I still have a job, like most of us do.